Yes, indeed. And we've just been joined by Patrick Stevenson. He's the lead researcher at Imani Africa. And today we're fact-checking some infrastructure projects purported to be, of course, under the NPP. This is one, or these are actually three of the projects that they mentioned that they were working on in the northern region, to be precise, the Tamale metropolis. And so today Patrick has joined us. Let's see if indeed it is true that the two have been completed and one is still ongoing. So welcome, Patrick. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good, Bella, and I think it's always exciting to join you guys, to have this conversation. I think it's important,
Absolutely. Anyway, so we're talking about the industries. And so first of all, let's start off with the Tamale, the completed G Fresh Company Limited, rearing and processing of guinea fowl at in Tamale Metropolitan. And it says here that the category is industrial and status is completed. Patrick,
right.
Is
okay.
It?
So two things to say here quickly. These are businesses, and I'm not sure we can ordinarily classify them as infrastructure investments per se, right? And so we should get that out of the way, right? And having done that, I think the project you just mentioned, which is the G Fresh Company Limited, that is supposed to be rearing and processing guinea fowl, we got the correspondent for the northern region, Christopher, to go and verify the existence of that company. As we speak now, he's unable to tell exactly what that company is, right? He's spoken to, I think, the district director for agriculture, and they're still trying to give him information on his exact location. However, the company exists. We have tried to validate the existence of the company, and there are documents to suggest that the company existed. In fact, it's a company that was set up way back in 2007. So it's not a new company. If you're even looking at it as one of these one district, one factory initiatives of government, it's not It's not a new company. It's a company that existed in 2007, and sometime in 2015, they got to do some business with government. I think they did business with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, also with Maslock and some other state institutions. It's a company that exists.
So what does government mean by completed then? Because
which is what is interesting. So. It's not clear until we've been able to speak to the company directly to find out what sort of intervention government provided. And I suspect it may be a tax relief, because that's exactly what happened to the second company, which we shall be given to get into.
So nothing about infrastructure?
Not necessarily. Nothing about infrastructure.
But it says here industrial infrastructure. So it's...
That's why I started off by saying that we have to demystify that. I mean, you can't go and set up a new... This is a company that, by numbers that we have, suggests a company that was doing well. Right, because as far back as 2015, there's a company that's some group of angel investors called gov't, right? And they invest in agribusinesses that do well. Now, that company had invested about $375,000 in this company and had projected that by 2019, which was last year, the company should be making something about $2.4 million, right?
Wow.
So it's really a company that is on its feet. So I'm not sure what the partnership and engagement is with government, but the truth is the company exists. We shall get Chris, to get us the exact, location of that company. Right?
Tell us about this one, because you talked about tax relief being the intervention that was provided. This is completed LK International Company Limited, Motor King assembling. They do assembling, distribution, and maintenance of motorbikes, tricycles, bicycles, etc. And they are also in the Tamale metropolis.
And that's also another interesting company, Bella, because just like the first one, it was also established in 2007. As a matter of fact, it was previously called Motor King. Now, Motor King was owned between a Ghanaian and one other UK partner. And then sometime in 2015 as well, they merged with LK International. Now, LK International is a Chinese company. Right. So the company now is operating under the umbrella of LK International, and it has branches all across the country, and they do, the things you have outlined there. The checks on the ground, I think Christopher went to the company and they confirmed that what government gave them were tax reliefs that supported them to bring in some equipment, some of which are currently being used for agriculture. So if you see these mopeds, Stephen, I don't know if you've seen them.
Yes.
The
ones
tricycles
they call
yes. So they bring in a lot of it and use them in the north, and they do maintenance and things like that. And the government as well used some of the NABCO employees as staff to support the company, and also to get there to learn some handheld skills that they can effectively use when they're done. So these two projects exist. However, the description as infrastructure is problematic. They look like companies that were doing well, so it's not clear what exactly are broad intention is when we say we went and give them tax reliefs. If it was to create a room where we could get some of these young entrepreneurs, young graduates to learn some skills, fair enough. But again, do we classify this as infrastructure? Because I don't see any infrastructure that was
break
built.
it down
No
for us,
infrastructure.
because this is getting confusing. So when we say infrastructure, again, what does it mean? So we understand. Is it about providing equipment? Is it about putting up a structure? What is it?
Well, for government, I mean, the way government's accounts have been put together in times past, infrastructure would typically mean capital investment or capital expenditure of government.
Okay.
This is not one of those. So I can't, based on the evidence available, suggest that, this is an infrastructure investment. It's not. However, it is an industrial investment that would have been made. So if you give tax relief, yes, industrial investment.
Yeah.
What are we expecting to get? So there's still a lot that has to be clarified around that. I'm not sure if it's the way the data came in for government, how they decided to classify it. But that's what the facts on the ground speak to.
Do you have any information about the first one, the ongoing African European
So that
textile?
company is still ongoing.
Yeah.
Once again, we can't find the exact location. So Chris is doing a lot of rounds. He's been doing a lot of rounds the last 2 days to get the exact location of those companies. So I suspect by Monday, we have sufficient information on exactly where they are located.
Yeah.
We'll let the viewers know.
Absolutely. Well, let's cross over to Christopher Amwako. He's our correspondent in the northern region, and he's been doing some fact-checking on the ground to ascertain. Well, I hear that's not ready. So anyway, at least we have some information on that. Thank you so much, Patrick, for this. And I'm sure that by next week, like you said, we'll get the
We'll get a bit more
location. All right. Patrick Stevenson is the lead researcher at Imani Africa. And so back to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Bella Mundi and Patrick Stevens. We'll take a break here, and when we return, we'll try to get onto the telephone lines to speak with Alhaji Frimpong. And then later on the big agenda for this morning, we will be getting to speak with Kofi Akpalu, who is the flag bearer of the LPG, the Liberal People's Party. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.